Lelani, like they make you speak after Mungamud. You know, he practically said everything. I actually said that to Abud Kutulam, like, let's go home. You know, Bulelani has practically done my masterclass. Background, Glenda Setshedi. I'm the founder of Pathfinders. Pathfinders is a business incubation program. I'm also the founder of Career Active Training and Consulting. Career Active is a training consulting company. We do consulting for high schools, for career paths, and kind of mapping out what's your next step after school. I want to actually focus on a couple of things that Bulelani actually spoke about. But before I do that, I want to advise entrepreneurs there are 3 books that you need to go find after this masterclass. The first one is All Lean Startup. All Lean Startup. All Lean Startup, lean as L-E-A-N. All Lean Startup. And then the other one is by Jeff Constable. There are actually 2 books. They really, really changed the trajectory of our business. The first one is Talking to Humans, and the second one is Testing with Humans. Those 2 books, you need to go find them. They're by the same author, Talking to Humans and Testing with Humans. Totally different things. Make sense? Are we all on the same page? Okay, so those 3 books, please go find them. I was introduced to these books in 2019, and it made me look at business very different. I want us to familiarize us as entrepreneurs with a term called early adopters. Who can try? I think I want this to be interactive, actually. It shouldn't just be me talking. Who wants to try? What are early adopters? Does any entrepreneur know of the term early adopters? Yeah, can we get the mic somewhere? Early adopters? Yeah. Yeah, let's give you the mic. Wait for, they're getting the mic to you.
Hello. I think early adopters is customers who like to try new products that just came in the market.
Yeah, and I think, let's give him a round of applause. He got it right, guys. And I remember, as a new entrepreneur, when I was studying career active training and consulting, and all I knew is that I didn't like corporate, and I wanted to get out, right? That's how we all start businesses. I don't like work, so I'm gonna start my own things. I can make my own rules, right? But we don't familiarize ourselves that entrepreneurship is structured, guys, right? It's when you need to understand the background of what business is. It's no longer about side hustle. When you want to compete with the best, you need to know that you need structure. So I'm actually surprised that in a room full of entrepreneurs, there's only about 2 or 3 entrepreneurs that know what early adopters are. Early adopters are the people that buy your products without you working hard, right? This is someone who meets you, and it's the same that I've done with a lot of businesses at Pathfinders. I put you in a mall, and at first glance, people start seeing your product and they buy, right? You didn't work hard for that sale. You didn't have to persuade the person. You didn't have to pitch them over and over again, but that person immediately tried your product. Who's used VW for over 10 years? Who's used VW or any car for over 10 years? There's a brand that you prefer, right? 10 years later, when you go to VW, at the end of your service, VW sends you a message, thank you for your commitment to VW. We hope that we've provided an excellent service. We hope to see you soon. 10 years later. You meet your early adopter, who you didn't work hard for. Take their money and you are gone. Never again to see you. They're gonna see you the next time you want the next 100 rand. That's how small businesses deal with their customers. We're always chasing the new 100 rand. We can't retain the old one. We're always chasing the new 100 rand. Early adopters, guys, I want us to maximize using them. These are people that you didn't work hard to acquire. These are the people that you need to work hard to retain. And I can't speak about sales without speaking about early adopters. Because guess what? If you're the one selling your product, obviously you're the business founder, right? Why should I trust you? Because you're the one who needs the money. But who am I going to trust? The customer that used your product. So my early adopter is the one that provides a review. They come back and they talk about how using my product has been great to them. Customers trust other customers. right? So there was a lady that actually mentioned that she's got a problem with people trusting her, right? If you are the one selling the product, you are the one who founded it. You don't know your disadvantage. Like, where's the feedback there? But if I'm a client who's used your product, I can rave about your product. I remember when I did a masterclass in sales, they said, turn early adopters into early ravers or influential ravers. These are the people that go on social media platform and say, hey, I bought this from Tepo. It's been amazing, Tepo. I'm definitely coming back, right? That's what you share as a business. That becomes your selling point. Make sense? Are we all on the same page? All right. Another thing that I actually want to talk about is half of the time when I'm listening to people talk about sales, we talk about a unique value proposition, but we rarely ever talk about an MVP. So there's UVP and there's MVP. MVP is minimal viable product. So let's laugh about our stories. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. So I am in corporate. I studied, my background is in psychology, and all I know is that I want to make an impact, right? And I say, you know what, I'm going to resign and I'm going to take all my savings and I'm going to start a business. Okay, I resign, they give me my money. There I am, put all the money in the business. This is the first business that I ran, and that's when I realized that I was in trouble. Took all the money, started going to schools, marketing, no business. Money, where's the pocket? The pocket is decreasing. It's costing me money to drive every day. It's food on the road and everything. 2 years later, I have no clients. The pocket is on about 300 rand, I still remember, all right? And then we got our first client. But then I failed dismally because there was no feedback. So entrepreneurs fail dismally because we don't try MVPs. MVPs is fail small, fail fast, and recover from the failure. So I don't take the current sales. If I'm testing a new product, I'm not taking all the money that I'm making in my business and putting it into a new product. I'm taking a portion of it and I'm testing it in the market with my minimum viable product. I'm not saying do cheap quality. Those are two different statements. I'm saying I'm exploring MVP. MVP is minimum viable product. So meaning I put it out in the market, I get feedback. I want to talk about feedback when it comes to sales. We take things so personal as entrepreneurs, eh? A customer reports, I don't like your perfume, it was finished. You know, when I walked out of the door, I couldn't even smell it anymore. But because as an entrepreneur, you've made you the business. You think it's a personal attack. You don't go back and refine the model. You make it about you now. It's you and the customer going head to head. No, you know, you're clearly not my target market. I don't know how you're going to sustain that business, right? And these are mistakes that I made as a business, and we're talking about reality. So minimum viable product means that I test the market, and I go back to the drawing board if I have to. So once I receive feedback, I remember with our model, people, when I started Pathfinders, if I can tell you a little bit what Pathfinders is an incubation program. I currently incubate about 300 startups that are township-based, but our job is to connect them to big corporate. For example, we have Tumelo. I want to speak about Tumelo. Tumelo, can you stand up? Tumelo is a Pathfinder. He's actually here. Tumelo is actually one of the businesses that we took from a table, and he now owns a store inside Mamelodi. Mam Small, actually. So with Pathfinders, our journey is that we meet you as a local entrepreneur, but how do we get you to participate in this huge economy that exists, such as malls, right? And I wanted to bridge the gap. But what was important is that I needed to constantly get feedback from entrepreneurs to refine my model. If I had continued on a trajectory of saying, oh, I've got a business model and I don't need feedback, trust me, you are sitting with a warehouse full of things and no one to buy. Because you can't receive critical feedback as a business, right? So you cannot do sales without feedback. Feedback is so critical, guys, because it allows you to go back to the drawing board. Remember, if you're going to solve a problem, how are you solving a problem if you're not listening to your customer? How do you even know what problem they have? Right? I remember when I also attended a masterclass, and one of the things that actually changed my view of township entrepreneurs, and I want to tell the story because it was told to me and it really made an impact. For example, you know, the problem with township entrepreneurs is that I see someone selling magwenya, and then I see a whole queue, right? I see a queue, you know, it's circling, and I think, that person is killing it, right? Instead of me going back and saying, how can I plug myself into this model? I open up a Magwinya next to him. That little market, we're going to share it. So now there's 15 of us selling the same thing. Mara, we all go and queue for oil. No one is saying, Ish, can I solve the oil thing? There's 15 of us who need oil. No, we're all going and starting Magwinya. We don't have a supplier for sugar. We don't have a supplier for salt. We don't have a supplier for flour. The day they close flour, fine. All our businesses down the drain. So we're not taking care of the value chain. And we're not working hard to take care of the value chain in townships. So half of the time when we're selling because we see something can go quickly. But at the back of our heads, we're not thinking about how do we secure the value chain in the sales. I actually also want to speak about, one thing that Bulelani said, which is very profound about what big brands sell. And I remember it was a turning point for us. Big brands don't sell as much as the problem and all of that. Yeah, you can do TikTok videos and show your customer, what it is, what it takes to make the product, but the customer is not really interested in that. The customer is more interested about the emotion that you're going to evoke in them. Because remember, the problem is attached to an emotion, right? When you have to stand in a queue, do you know the pain? When you see that queue just appear, when you come into a mall and you want to use the ATM and you see the queue, what is the first emotion that you experience as a client? You just want to go, you want to go back, right? That's a pain point. Your customer buys that emotion. You need to evoke that. So when years later, when someone asks me, what do Pathfinders, what do you sell? I say to them, we sell hope. That is the emotion that I want to evoke. Because I'm somebody who takes someone who was operating from the back room of their backyard and I put them inside a mall and they've got a brand and I can turn that into a franchise. That is a local story. That is what hope does. Hope goes from one entrepreneur who used to be the sales, the accountant, the everything. When you are 7-in-1 in your business and you are alone, you are the delivery guy, you are the accountant. When they want invoice, you are also, you are the sales department as well, right? But I take one guy who used to be 7-in-1 and can now create employment for 7 people locally. I sell hope. Let's talk about Coke as a brand. Coke doesn't sell the bottle or the drink. Coke evokes emotion, family. When they do an ad, they show you a bride, they show you family sitting around enjoying and sharing a bottle of Coke. That's why their slogan will move for enjoy every moment, right? I was actually asking about Nedbank, right? Look at Nedbank. Nedbank is a financial institution, but their slogan is, what is their slogan? Money experts who do good. Good, when you do good. So by virtue of being with a bank that does good, you want to do good as an entrepreneur. They sell that emotion. I remember when we started with Career Active, I'll tell you the day we came up with our slogan. We were driving around, right? And we were reading slogans on billboards. I was with my friend and we were driving around and we were reading slogans and we were saying, ABSA says, today, tomorrow, together. Spa, I still remember we parked in front of Spa and Spa says, life is good or something good, but it was about good. And I'm like, it has to be three words that are powerful, right? And I remember with Career Active, we said, we want to involve a little bit of play. Kids like playing, okay? And then, we've got the last word, right? We want to we help people discover themselves. Okay, discover is one word. And then we were like, but we need another one that is serious. And our slogan is work, play, discover. Right? We help you discover yourself. We integrate a little bit of play. But most importantly, we help you figure out the world of work. Right? With Pathfinders, buy local, buy hope. So instead of you considering your money as just buying the product, you're actually purchasing a piece of hope. Make sense? Half of you guys, if I had to ask you in the room, what are you selling as an emotion? So when you talk about your story and you're pitching, people want to hear, what are you selling? Where's the business going? Right? The founder, the story behind the founder. Why did you start the business in the first place? Now we need to move from you just hustling to make the next 100 rand to saying, can I embody this business and this model? And in closing, guys, I'll take questions, especially around Pathfinders, but I want to tell you a little bit about my journey and why I will speak about Pathfinders is when I came back home in 2019, I came back from the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And I think the one thing that was disheartening about the township economy was all I saw when I walked around townships was there's big malls everywhere. But the first question I had to ask myself about Temba was, why isn't that we don't have locals that are participating in this? So I would call random franchises inside the mall and I would ask, who owns this franchise? And they say, the person sits in Cape Town. I'm like, why are we okay with this? Where's all the money going? Clearly this money is not staying in the townships. And that's the question that we need to be asking ourselves as entrepreneurs. As much as we're selling products, I need a product that can change the trajectory of the township. Where is the money going? And so that's how I founded Pathfinders. I started it with a business meet and greet. It was just saying I needed common people that I could have conversation with. I remember I did it at a church, right? I said, let's do a business meet and greet. And I wanted to meet up with businesses. And everybody just sat around and we just started having conversations. I remember go Jubilee Mall when I was told only 2 locals participate out of a 500-store mall. 500 stores, and only 2 are locals. That was a pain for me. But this was a story that I could speak to a lot of people about. And when I say hope is now when I can tell you, I've changed the trajectory, go Jubilee Mall. Right now, go Jubilee Mall, every single month, I've got 15 to 30 entrepreneurs that go inside the mall and they trade. Right now, I'm looking to acquire stores. Mom small, I've got 4. There's a kiosk that we gave away to Lebo who does handcrafted earrings. There's also Dumelo, Baba Classic Cat who's got a store. There's Beauty by Shanti, and there's also Skin Dirt Tattoos. These entrepreneurs all own shops, which were supposed to be space for retail properties. I've started working with, there's another property group that I started working with, which is Exemplar. They own Mum Square, and we currently have entrepreneurs that are also operating stores inside Mum Square. So, but our journey as Pathfinders is to make sure that globally, we make sure that locals who support these big corporate companies come to the table and participate in this economy. I'm going to make sure we take a piece of our pie. In closing, guys, I want to remind you that big brands don't sell products or problems. Big brands sell emotion. They sell hope. They sell, family time. They sell problems that we experience day to day. And you gotta attach your business to a story. You can't sell to people who can't relate to your story. And most importantly, use the people who are exactly the demographic that you're looking for. And I think that goes back to what I was saying to a lot of entrepreneurs, that don't be the one selling the product. Find the people that can be relatable to your customers. If your target market is that mama who has an issue. I remember, for example, when I did the MVP for Career Active, there was a critical question. We used to say, I market my products on Facebook. They're like, yeah, school kids are on Facebook, but who actually pays? The parent. So I don't need to be on Facebook marketing to the kids. So where do I need to be? At parents' meetings, having conversations with parents. So you guys are working extra hard and putting money to the people who will not buy. Is that executive that you're looking for on Facebook? No, they're probably on LinkedIn, right? Yes, your service is targeted at small businesses, but would I rather have a corporate sponsor small businesses? Am I selling to the right person, and am I using the right image of that person to sell to the person that I'm appealing to? On that note, guys, I'll be taking questions. Thank you so much. I hope it was valuable. Please familiarize yourself with those books.
Let's give it up for Glenda, guys.
Thank you so much. Is there any questions? Yes.
So as we identify the people for the questions, there will be a mic coming to you, all right? Ready?
Which one? That one? Good morning, everyone. Please hold this. Good morning, my sister. Thanks for the words of encouragement. First things first. My name is Godfrey. I'm with my business partner, Tabiso here. So we are from TNG Bilto. Here in Mamelodi, we manufacture and sell Bilto. The problem that we have now is acquiring a stall at a mall. We have all the relevant documentation, everything that might be needed. If we do not have everything, I believe that you will assist us in telling us what is needed. So I was asking, how can we get inside a mall? Because we were in talks with Tony Regional Mall, but marabara betilaga bomb. So my sister since only knowledge body mall, even if it's just a stall or a shop. Can you please assist us in getting a space there? Thank you.
Yeah, well, definitely. Come become a Pathfinder, man. I'm constantly looking for businesses that I can empower. But I want to go back to a couple of words that Bulelani spoke about, right? One thing that we do very well as entrepreneurs is we're great at coming up with ideas, right? But we rarely ever take time to study our customers or who I'm going to sell to, right? Let me give you a practical example. When I quickly walked into discussing space and participation of local businesses to malls don't want to deal with individuals. Remember, a mall is at a scale where they're dealing with 300 stores that pay them 30 to 40,000 rand a month. You are a small business that probably can afford 1.5. One, it costs them more to invoice you as an individual, right? So most don't want to deal with that. And that's the reason why when I had to go back and go and look at my unique, that's where we come to UVP, right? Meaning that I study the person that I need to sell to. I said, we will become the driver of onboarding all these small businesses because you don't want to deal with them as the small business. We will deal with that. We will deal with the nitty-gritty. So as Pathfinders, we are the ones that are like the mother. So when we come to the table, I speak on behalf of 300 entrepreneurs. So I'm not putting them all through dealing with one by one, right? So for example, maybe you can afford, the mall tells us, okay, we charge 3,750 a day. That's the average rate inside malls, by the way. 3,750 a day. I don't know if small business can afford that. But I come to the table and I say, okay, they can't afford that. So if for the day you were going to charge us 15,000, right, for 10 businesses, how do I take the 15,000 and I break it down into 15 or 20 businesses that can give you the same amount of money, but now you're dealing with the mother company, which is Pathfinders, and I will then take care of the admin of the small businesses. So I invoice you, right? I invoice the small businesses, the mall invoices us as Pathfinders, and then we deal with the mall. So should there be any issues, I come as the mother. So I keep you accountable as the small business. But the mall doesn't want to deal with 15 of you having to go around saying you didn't pay us 1.2. They're already dealing with 300 stores that pay them 40,000, right? That's too much work. But the other thing that I had to explore was policy, right? What does policy say? You guys only know about the comrade thing and what. You know when comrades, when something is being built, they show up and they say 80 has to stay in the community. You know them, right? And they put up boards and whatever. But I came to the table and I said, well, companies have a responsibility towards ESD, right? Enterprise development. How do I show up to the table speaking about enterprise development, but it's something that speaks to them as a mall? So the responsibility then says, I understand their policy and I studied what they're looking to do as a company and I show up as that. So I'm not going to use the same pitch when I'm speaking to Nedbank or a mall or whatever, right? I'm going to speak different languages to the people that I'm pitching to. So most importantly, businesses make the mistake. You want space inside the mall. You want to speak the same language to all of them. The mall sits down and like, okay, this person can afford 1.2. It's too much work. We don't want to deal with that admin. But Makes sense, right? But you're not saying, by empowering me, I can employ 5 people who stay local. Now you're speaking to something that the mall wants to do, which is empower communities. Make sense? All right. I hope that answers your question, but definitely search Pathfinders and we'll help you with the registration process. Most
I
definitely.
believe, my brother, you answered. Let's go to the second person.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, viewers at home. Hello to the investors around here. As a newly multi-millionaire, I want to find out how do I fund the township young business and in development.
How do you fund?
How do I fund? How do I fund the township youth development thing that you are now currently with the meeting on?
I think we can speak about the process of what we need as a business. We're at different stages. One is definitely, I do a lot of things. Either CEDA comes in to help us with branding, so we can sit down and speak about what particular area are you most looking to invest in. But as a business with us, with Pathfinders, there's a wide variety. Either you can invest into a specific business that we currently incubate, or you can invest into Pathfinders ourselves. But definitely our goal is to have incubation hubs across the country. And that's currently where we're at. We're currently busy with one here, more Mamsmall, where we're opening up a center where entrepreneurs can literally walk in and we help you with the process of becoming a Pathfinder and taking you through the process. For example, when I met local businesses, there were businesses that didn't even have branding, right? For example, a simple banner that says who you are. All my businesses are now properly branded, right? Because I can't give you a store if you don't even understand the importance of a banner. How are you going to manage a storefront, right? So there are basic principles that you need to understand about operating inside a mall, which is our curriculum, and we teach you that journey. So definitely, if you're looking to invest, you can be specific. Do I want to invest in a local business, or do I want to specifically invest in an area in Pathfinders? Because our areas are diverse. There's branding, there's business registration, there's acquiring stores. So there's different stages of the curriculum that you can invest in, definitely.
I think I said 3 questions, right?
Are we going to take the last one?
I think we're going to take the last one, and
Sure.
the people who really want to talk to you, because most of them nearly need you. I believe they need you.
Yeah.
So we're taking the last question. The rest of them, you'll communicate with them later.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a mic for the gentleman here? Thank you.
Sanwanan, good morning. My name is Tulani Mandula. My sister, I just wanted to find out, how do you make money? What's your revenue source of income? Thank you.
I sell space that I don't own. How do you like that? I'm joking, but yeah, I sell space. Our job as Pathfinders is, if the mall is looking for a particular invoice, we will up it a notch and we make money from there. And then that's how we've kept our business sustainable. But another thing that has also kept us very sustainable is that I've now started investing in businesses. So because Pathfinders is almost like a conveyor belt, we want you to pave the way for somebody else. If we get you to a point where you're owning a store, Pathfinders will take a portion of us getting you there. So we don't have to even own your business. You keep 95% of your business. We just take 5% of your profits and we make sure we invest in the next entrepreneur that is coming up. So it's the conveyor belt. We're going to ensure that you drive, someone else being empowered as well.
I believe we can't take any more questions, and because I can see the topic is really worth it for most of you guys. You're definitely going to need her. If I can open the floor for the questions, it's going to take the whole day. Mara, I believe maybe her information is going to be shared. You're definitely going to communicate with her. She's still going to be here. Anybody who needs her as a small business is going to work for all of us. And
maybe let me share our details as Carol before I leave.
You can do that.
Guys, you can follow us on all social media platforms, Pathfinders SA. You can look out for our workshops. We might be running a workshop close by, but normally at a time we onboard 50 businesses at a go. So the next workshop coming to your location, you can just register for that workshop and then be onboarded to the program, and then we'll take you through the whole process of how do we go from ideation up until you're putting a prototype inside a mall.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. And I'm Glenda Setshedi. If you want to follow me, you're more than welcome to search us on all social media platforms. Thank you so
I
much.
will need a picture. Photographer, can you please have a picture of our speaker? With and without, yes.
Are you coming? Oh. Thank you. Without? Yes, without. It's so awkward to smile when so. People are looking at you.
Thank you so much, Glenda. We have a gift for you. You know us. We are operas. Guys, Glenda Mazo, thank you so very much, guys, for our speaker. And I believe the information that she shared, as I said earlier, is that our speakers, everything that they're going to share here, as much as their story is personal, definitely you're going to gain something. From the information that she just shared right now, most of you need it because you have a business. We always say, sell something. It doesn't matter what is it, but sell something.